Welcome to Books to Boom Your Business. I am Dr. Lotus Richey, and I am so happy to be here with you. And you can see we're doing it full screen. We want to say hello to you guys all around the world. We've got some amazing things going on here with you today. So if you can, go ahead and join us in our Zoom if you'd like to, or you can join us on our Facebook. You can join us in YouTube. You can join us in LinkedIn. But the main thing is join us and send this information out to your friends and your frenemies. Why? Because your frenemies need to come on in and get in where they fit in. Why? Because everyone needs books to boom your business. Because let's face it, books can be our mentors and we can kind of read these books, but we've got to read the right books. Okay, we've got to read the right books. And you're going to see me looking over to the left or over to the right from time to time as I'm doing multiple things. Why? Because I've got to get these books in your hands and get the information to you. And I don't want to miss a thing. So let's talk about why books are so important. The right books can really change our lives for the better. We'll be mentored by these books and be mentored by the best of the best, like the two speakers we have here today. Selective reading can inspire, it can empower, it can motivate, but most importantly, it can transform you and transform your life and make your life so much better. It can also teach you things and skills that you haven't learned before, that you might not have in your arsenal to kind of fortify you with the things that you need to get the job done. Not only that, so many people might think, Dr. Lotus, we know all of these people who are billionaires and trillionaires. What habits do they have? Well, let me tell you, it's unequivocal. It is statistically, say that with me, statistically, I bet you can't say that 10 times in a row. It is statistically proven that those who aspire and do their very best in life, you know what one of their habits is? It's reading and gaining knowledge that will fortify not only them in their private life, but also fortify everyone that's connected to them. So reading is on the top of the list when it comes to being successful. And see, that's why myself, my team, and so many powerful entrepreneurs and authors all around the globe are coming here to Books to Boom Your Business to help you and people you know to boom their business and to boom their life. And that's why you're surely to enjoy the webinar today. So go ahead and tap a friend. Put this on your Facebook page, your LinkedIn page, whatever page you're on, because the Books to Boom Your Business can help you change your life and the life of someone else you know. And so with that being said, we're going to show this opener to you as we welcome our Books to Boom Your Business authors for today. Sarah? All right, and we are here and we are going to show this to our guests that's right here in our Zoom because they may not have seen it. Here goes. Come on, folks. It's time to boom your business. Belton W. Shower, Leadershipology, the study of leadership. Wow! Wow, and we've got the lessons in me, teaching you lessons that you need to know to help you to grow. With the mastermind, the terrific, none other than Brenda Flores. Robles is here with us today. Thank you for our guests and our friends for being here today. And we are super happy to be here today. So come on, let's clap it up, everybody. We've got two amazing authors here. There we go. That's right. We've got two amazing authors here. And let's first go right on in with leadershipology. Let's go right to Mr. Velton Shawel. Let's get him up on the screen here with me. All right, there you are. Hey there, Velton. How are you doing today, sir?
Not as good as you, and I'm fantastic, Lotus. How are you today?
I am doing most amazing today. I'm having an awesome day. I'm igniting and take flighting in the books to boom your business. So, Velton, I want to thank you for coming here today. I know so much about you. You are an amazing leader. You help all types of corporations. You've helped companies make millions, if not billions of dollars. And you're here with us today to help entrepreneurs do their best, not only in business, but in their private life, because it really starts in your private life and it somewhat trickles over to your business life. So Velton, can you tell us a bit more about yourself? And then we're going to get right into your books. Go ahead, Velton.
Absolutely. Well, I am the founder and chief strategist of a company called Leadership Dynamics International. We founded the company based on a couple of different premises. We spent 30 years in the hospitality industry and working with some of the major organizations within that industry to do some incredible things in sales and marketing. And what that taught us was the need to connect with people, the need to make sure that you put people first. So when we designed the company, we looked at it from a leadership perspective, because in that time I was a director of sales and marketing for 20 years. And I had the pleasure of leading some award-winning sales teams. Mm-hmm. And I watched people get promoted. I watched people in the corporation aspire to these great positions. And they were promoted primarily for three reasons. Mm-hmm. Their strategic planning or strategic thought process, their fiduciary understanding, or their technological prowess. They got to the corner office and they lacked people skills.
Wow.
And so what we set out to do, and you asked why we wrote the book, we set out to put together some principles that would help leaders connect. And what we want them to do is create a culture of champions. Create an environment where people no longer look at themselves being limited by their surroundings. There is no box. They don't have to think outside the box because there is no box. The only limitations they have are the limitations that they can put on themselves. That's number one. Number two, we is more important than me. Because if we succeed, I will succeed also. But I can't succeed to the best of my full potential if I'm always looking over my shoulder because there's somebody else who's trying to outdo me or outperform me to shine better than me. So if we get together, it's more important than me.
Awesome. So Velton, wow, you said a lot. Very, very powerful. For those of you around the world, if you're loving what this dynamic gentleman of leadershipology is said so far, go ahead and put it number one, because he is number one in his field. And so with that said, I'm going to slide on over because he's going to talk about his leadershipology book. And also I got some secret sauce. He's got another book that you definitely want to get. But in today, he's going to talk about his leadershipology book that he wrote. And then he's got a companion that goes along with that book. And you can get that book today. So Velton, please take it away. I know you're going to share 5 top tips from your book. And I know you're just going to go all in. So with no further ado, please welcome again, Mr. Velton Shawel, the leadershipologist. Velton?
Well, it's interesting, Lotus. Thank you so much. When I sat down to write this book, we came up with the phrase leadershipology, which is the study of leadership. And yes, I do refer to myself as a leadershipologist. The actual title of the book changed from the day we started to what it is today. Today, it's called Leadership Dynamics, the Principles of Leadership. And what we started out with was Leadership Dynamics, 52 principles that every successful leader understands. Because what we wanted to do is ingrain in the understanding and the mindset of leaders that if you focus on something for 7 straight days, just one principle, and you try to make it a habit by focusing on it for 7 days, just making sure that you're starting each day thinking about it, ending each day thinking about it, going through the day instituting it, that principle will become part of who you are. So it doesn't mean that you can change yourself or change your environment in a week or a day or a month. It usually takes a lot of time. So if you do this for a whole year, it becomes ingrained in you and in the environment. We look at leaders as environmentalists, challenged with the responsibility of creating an environment of success. So how do you do that? Well, number one, you got to work on you. You got to take a look inside. Michael Jackson wrote a song, The Man in the Mirror. Well, before you can look at others, you got to look at you. And I don't want you to look at yourself from the aspect of what's my leadership style, because I want to then have my leadership style go out and touch others. I want to understand what my leadership style is so that I fully understand and embrace how I think, how I look at the world, so that when I start to interact with other people, I have total cognizance of who I am. Here's the thing. You can't use your leadership style on everyone. Why? Because everybody learns differently. So you have to tune into the learning style or the way people around you process information more than yourself. Because here's the thing. If I'm a auditory learner and you're showing me pictures and you're speaking to me about marketing stuff that's just graphically designed, we're not connected. Conversely, if I am a visual learner and you're making me touch things from a kinesthetic standpoint because you're making me build things and stuff, again, there's a disconnect. But your leadership style could be autocratic. You're still not touching me. Who am I? You're not leading yourself, you're leading someone else. So that's one of the things that we really wanted leaders to start tuning into. Focus less on your leadership style and more on the learning styles of the people around you. The people around you, there are 3 primary learning styles, but there are a total of 7 learning styles. And no one individual uses one style exclusively. There's usually a combination of styles that they're comfortable with. Some are more in the front, and some of them are more recessive. But one of the things that Lotus asked me to do, which I don't want to neglect doing, is talk about 5 points from the book. The first point is what we call mind over matter. Yeah, you've heard that before. Mind over matter. Well, what is mind over matter? It means keeping your mind focused on what truly matters. Not getting caught up with the trivial things, the things that are more the minutia of the situation. What is truly important? The most important thing is getting results. How do you come up and get or obtain the results that you're looking for? It's been said there's 2 types of people in the world. Those who produce results and those who give you reasons. The question is, where do you focus? Are you focused on what truly matters? Because if you're focused on what truly matters, you can produce results. If you get hung up on the stuff that's not important, you come up with 1,000 reasons why you didn't hit the target. So what we want you to do is focus on the important things. Make a list. Create the vision and let your staff work through the task list, but create a list of things to give them a vision of where you want them to go and what the results that you want to achieve. That's number one. The second one is push yourself to be consistent. I don't know how many times it's happened to you, but if you've ever worked with someone who's all over the map, they're this way today, they're that way tomorrow. You see them in the morning, they're great. You see them in the afternoon, they feel like they got a chip on their shoulder. In the afternoon, they're full of energy. In the morning, they're be consistent. When you, as a leader, walk in that door, you're on stage. Everybody's watching. If you're going to talk to someone and you're going to give them specific instructions, make sure that when you talk to somebody else who's doing the same thing, the instructions or the guidelines are the same. People are looking for you to be consistent. When you're showing consistency, now people start not to trust you. Trust is earned. It's not taken. So you want to be consistent so people start to understand you and they don't start to try to second guess how you're going to react to this. How are they going to treat me versus how they treated Jane or Margot or Jack. You want people to, again, feel as though you've got their best interest in mind. The third thing that we talk about is don't take anything personal. This is business, not personal. One of my favorite movies, Godfather. I don't know if you're into that kind of movie, but the movie The Godfather. They had a quote, they had a saying, no matter what was going on. It's not personal, it's business. You're in a business environment. Don't take things personal. Leave your personal issues at home or outside, because at the end of the day, nobody really cares.
Right.
Yes, you want to be personable, but you don't want to have a personal agenda that you make obvious to everybody around you. Now, it's hard because you could be on your way to work in the morning, somebody cuts you off. Now you got an issue. Because you, obviously, when somebody cuts me off, I take it personal. But you can't bring that to the work environment. You got to leave that at the door. You might have had a disagreement with your spouse in the morning. You can't carry that baggage with you into this environment. Your children may be driving you crazy. You got to leave that at home. Yep. And if somebody says something to you that you don't totally like or agree with at work, it's not personal. Right. It's business. Keep it on a business plateau. The last one, well, there's two more. The next one is be responsible, because as a leader, you are responsible, but also be accountable. A lot of people will take the responsibility, but at the end of the day, it's like this when the accountability comes. It's not me, it's them. The buck stops with you. You are the leader. Yes, sometimes you're going to take your licks, but the thing is, Nelson Mandela probably put it better than anybody I've ever heard. He said, in good times, as a leader, it's great and it's best to lead from behind and let others take the accolades, take the pat on the back. As a true leader, you step forward in times of adversity and danger. And if you do that, the people around you will respect your leadership.
Yes.
That's not an easy thing to do all the time, because one of the things I learned as a leader, the higher you go in the corporate ladder or the higher you grow on the corporate tree, the thinner the branches. And you'll get that on the way home. The higher you go in the corporate tree, the thinner the branches. But at the end of the day, as they say, that's why you get paid the big bucks. You got to step forward. You got to take that responsibility and hold yourself accountable. It's good to hold other people accountable, but the hardest thing to do as a leader is to hold yourself accountable. And the buck stops with you. The last point that I'm going to leave you with, Lotus, because I don't know how much time I have, and I know I've been doing a lot of talking, but
and it's great. You're amazing.
This is kind of So when I say it, you're going to laugh. Teach, don't preach. Teach, don't preach. People lose interest in what you teach unless you practice what you preach. And so when you're practicing what you're preaching, you're teaching them. You're giving them the opportunity to learn. Everybody wants to learn. Everybody wants to grow. People are looking for that mentor, that person that can help turn on that light in their head that makes the difference for them. If you're teaching and not preaching, people will tune into you. If you take the time to sit down with them, and they're going to make mistakes.
Yes.
They're going to do things that you don't expect. There's another principle that I want to throw in here. If you manage by walking around, and Tom Peters wrote a book back in the 80s called In Search of Excellence, and he wrote a sequel called A Passion for Excellence. If you're not an avid reader, and I'm going to throw this in here because I think this needs to be said, boom your books is extremely important, because here's what you need to understand. The average CEO, I'm going to write this down, the average CEO reads 60 books a year. Some people don't even read one. The average CEO reads 60 books a year, or 4 or 5 books a month. And we're talking about Steve Jobs' line. We're talking about Sir Richard Branson. You're talking about some of the heavyweights. Ben Horowitz. You're talking about Bill Gates. You're talking about Phil Knight. All these people. Nigel Howe. These are some of the top earning CEOs in the world, and they're taking the time to read 60 books a year. So if you're teaching and you're not preaching, what are you teaching from? If you're managing by walking around, and that was the point that I started making, you want to walk around and you want to find people doing things over the top. You want to find people doing exemplary work, and you want to make a big public issue of it. You want everybody to hear you giving that person accolades. You want everybody in the building to understand that Sarah had a great day, Brenda had a great day, Ezekiel had a great day, Kay had a great day, Lotus had a great day, Ken's had a great day. Why? Because everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody wants to be put on a pedestal. Yeah, it might not sound great, but everybody wants to be put up here. Yep. And if you do that, people start going out of their way to do great things because they know you're going to recognize them if they do something great. Exactly. Now, not everybody's going to be doing something great. You're going to see things that you don't want to see. You never counsel them in public. You take them behind closed doors and you have a one-on-one meeting with them. Hopefully it doesn't have to be two-on-one with human resources, but you can catch it before it gets to that point. You can have a one-on-one conversation with them and set the expectation. The only way anybody else in the operation finds out about it is if they tell you. Because you're creating an environment of excellence. You are creating a culture of champions. Now, this is the book. It's called Leadership Dynamics, The Principles of Leadership. It is available on Amazon. It is available on a Kindle and in paperback. It's also available on Audible and iTunes. And it is also a part of the beginning of our course. We have a course that has 13 workbooks that accompany it. And we've also written a companion journal. Now, the companion journal, there are 4 90-day companion journals to go with it. And the companion journal is very simple. There are 3 questions that every leader needs to ask themselves every day. Only 3 questions. And it's the same 3 questions every day, believe it or not. Can you believe it? You can ask yourself 3 questions every day that will change your life and change the life of everybody around you. What are those 3 questions? The first question is, what am I going to do differently today? Because when you do something different every day, when you try to be creative every day, it breaks down barriers and it pushes you into a new zone or a new level of excellence because you're trying innovative, creative, and new things. And it brings energy to your environment because the people around you say, what are we going to do today? What's he going to do today? What's she going to do today? What new idea are we going to be, what's going to be put out here today for us to focus on? That's number one. Second question you want to ask yourself every day. Second question. What are 3 things that I learned today? My dad said this to me when I was very young. He said, son, let me tell you something. He said, every day you should challenge yourself to learn something new. When you stop learning, it's time for you to leave this earth. Because every day should be a learning experience. So as a leader, you have to pay attention and learn something new every day. Learning something new every day gives you ammunition to try something new tomorrow. So those 3 things that you learned today, if it's something new, you can try a new idea, a new technique, a new philosophy tomorrow. And the last question, what are 3 things that I shared with someone else today? You're a leader. Leaders create other leaders. The way you create other leaders is sharing ideas, concepts, and understanding with the people that you've been entrusted to lead, to mold, to mentor, to help go from good to great or from average to outstanding. So we actually recommend the book and the 90-day journal in unison so that you can travel the road to success by creating a culture of champions. I'm Belton Showell. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it.
Awesome. Velton, let me get me in the picture with you because I got to tell you, Velton, again, thank you for being here. That was magnificent. You always come through with very powerful information. You always got powerful information to share. That's why you're the leadershipologist, okay? No brainer. So, Velton, I want to thank you for sharing the tips that you shared. And folks, you can see at the bottom of the screen, that's where you can get Velton Showell's books. I showed you earlier the clip on Amazon where you can go right there and get his books. And he's actually got 3 books there that you can get, okay? He's got a book called Principles of Leadership and Prospecting, the Key to Your Future Success, okay? So make sure you go and get that book as well, because guess what? Not only does he have leadership dynamics in the workbook to go with it, he's also got the prospecting, okay? Because you don't know what you don't know unless you know how to prospect and prospect properly. So get those 3 books. You can't go wrong. The link is down below the broadcast. You can see it right there. Grab that book. And so, Velton, very quickly, I just want to go over a couple of things you said, because sometimes we don't realize that we don't know this. You opened up and you said there are 7 learning styles. Sometimes people don't know that. How many of you knew that there were 7 learning styles? Those of you around the world, if you knew that there were 7 learning styles, put a 7 in there. And if you didn't know it, put a me in there. So that means that you today have learned that there are 7 learning styles. And then, Velton, you gave several keys. I mean, you're always giving some great secret sauce. But you talked about being responsible, being accountable. You told folks, don't preach. Hallelujah, right? Don't preach, but teach. Teach, don't preach. I like the way you said that. Teach, don't preach. But when you started, I heard you say this: put people first. Why is that so important? Because, Velton, like I said earlier, you've helped corporations make millions and trillions of dollars. Why is that important to put people first?
Well, in this world of technology, we have an issue right now.
Right.
And this current generation was raised with an iPhone, an iPad, or a computer.
Yes.
And I use my children as an example. Now my children are grown now, but when they were younger, if I called my son on the cell phone, he may not answer.
Right.
If I send him a text, I get a response in 30 seconds or less.
Right.
And the thing is that they're not programmed to be in tune to communicating with people verbally.
Right.
Verbal communication has a personality. A text does not. And
That's
what
true.
happens in our leadership roles, a lot of times what we end up doing is disconnected.
Yes.
And focus on we're so busy. We're looking at our to-do list. We're looking at our agenda. We're looking at all of these strategies and tactics, and we forget that the thing that we rely on to get this stuff done is a living, breathing person who has feelings.
Exactly.
And if people understand, there's another quote that I love, and it says, people lose interest in what you have to share until they understand how much you care.
Right. Exactly.
And if they understand that you care about them as an individual, they will go to the well. They will do things that you don't even ask them to do.
Exactly.
One of the greatest lessons that I learned, I went to a school, an elementary school, and I was just doing some observing. And I saw this second grade class. A friend of mine was a teacher in the second grade class. And they had a substitute at the class next door. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was in the second grade, we had a substitute. We were horrible.
Yep.
Substitute absolutely
wore them out.
Oh my gosh. It was you could have heard a pin drop. So I stuck my head in and I'm looking, and these kids are doing their work.
Yes.
The substitute couldn't find something. One of the kids got up and showed her where it was and handed it to her, handed out the paper. And I'm like, that's a substitute.
Wow.
So when started going to recess, I stood in the hallway and I saw this young man walk by and I said, "Hi, man, how you doing?" He said, "I'm okay, sir. How are you?" I said, "Fine." I said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" He said, "Yes." I said, "You have a substitute today?" He said, "Yes." I said, "And you guys are on your best behavior?" And he said, "Absolutely." And I said, "Well, don't mind me saying this, but that's not typical of most classes that have substitute." And he said, "Yes, I know." I said, "Well, why you guys?" He said, "Because we love our teacher. And when she comes back, we want her to be proud of us and how we responded and how we reacted when she was not here." And all of a sudden, the light bulb went off in my head. And it said to me, if your team really trusts you and your team really understands that you care about them, they will care about you. And they will work harder for you in your absence than they do in your presence.
Wow.
This was a second grade class.
Wow.
That exhibited this characteristic. And I'm like,
wow.
This is absolutely amazing.
So I always say, note takers are money makers and note takers are change makers. So I hope you got that note. I hope you grab what he just said, because that's phenomenal. So Velton, on our global broadcast, we have someone that you really hit home with. And I'm going to pull up his comment here, because he highlighted something you said. You said, create a culture of champions. And that's what you're talking about, because the champions are going to continue to champion even in your absence. And that came from Mr. Unstoppable himself, Terrence Lethbridge. And I like that he pulled that out. What made you decide to really embody that thought, creating a culture of champions?
Well, I have to give credit to one of my very good friends and mentors, a guy named Trevor Ives, because Trevor and I spend a lot of time talking. He's a marketing and branding expert. And one of the things about me, I'm very corporate, and I spent 30 years in corporate America. And a lot of times he tries to help me soften some of my ideas. And we were talking, and one of my favorite quotes, I'm a sports fan. One of my favorite quotes was from a basketball coach. And depending on where you're from, you might not like him, but you got to love his style. He coached the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I knew who you was talking about. Yes.
His name is Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson.
And Phil said this. He said, good teams become great
Yes.
When the players learn to trust each other
Mhm.
enough
Yep.
to replace need with we.
Yes.
And what Phil did is he brought in that philosophy. He brought in the triangle offense.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he do? He created a culture of champions.
Yes, he
Think
did.
about it. You got Michael Jordan,
Scottie Pippen.
Dennis Rodman.
What?
Now,
Yeah.
if you can bring Dennis in, and maybe
You're doing something. Yeah.
You're doing something.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve Kerr.
Yep.
You got all of these superstar personalities.
Yep. And they had a dynasty. It was a dynasty.
They created a culture of champions.
Yep.
He took that same philosophy.
Yep.
Out west.
Yes.
Where he had Kobe Bryant
yep.
and the crew.
Yep.
What did they do?
Same thing.
The same thing.
Yep.
They created a culture of champions and a dynasty, and they were the best.
Yep.
So when I looked at that, and Trevor and I started having that conversation, I was like, that applies in every walk of life if you're willing to do what it takes to get there. So the book that I wrote, Leadership Dynamics, The Principles of Leadership, is the cornerstone of developing that kind of mindset for the leader.
Exactly.
We talked about the next book that I'm writing. The next book that I'm writing, I've already started, is entitled The Culture of Champions.
Awesome.
Because we're building that culture.
Awesome.
We're building that environment that one of my favorite books was by Jim Collins, is Good to Great.
Yes.
This is how a corporation and organization goes from good to great, or as I like to say, from average to outstanding.
Yes. That's awesome. So I so thank you for that. And hey to Terrence Leffridge too. He's got some excellent comments in here. He said, when your team cares about you, they will work harder for you in your absence, because that's what you said, than they do in your presence. And you know what? That is true, because sometimes you can come back and you be like, oh wow, you guys got all this done. And you kind of can't believe it, but it is a roll off of what you've done. So again, Velton, I want to thank you again for being here. You've been most amazing, and I want to thank you, audience, for chiming in. So I'd like to go ahead and bring up some of the information in the chat, because I've seen folks in the chat, and let me move this over, and so our audience, you guys can see it too. And I want to bring this down off of here. And thanks again to Trevor Ott. I know Trevor is a great influence on you. You've talked about him before, and he is definitely a champion. And so right here, Phyllis Weaver out of Virginia, and we've got somebody, it looks like they're in from the Ukraine. They're here as well. Says, I learned about the learning styles to get my substitute teaching certificate. Mm-hmm. And I can only imagine what she went through. So Phyllis, I want to thank you for that. And so if you would, can you tell us again where they can buy that book? And then we're going to transition right to our next phenomenal author after that.
Absolutely. Well, the link, you can buy the book, and you can just go to bit.ly Leadership Dynamics, or you can go right to Amazon, and it's entitled Leadership Dynamics, The Principles of Leadership. You can purchase the book there and the 90-day companion journal. Mm-hmm. The first volume, there are 4 volumes, but you can get the first volume of the 90-day companion journal. You can also go to Audible, and you can get the audiobook. Or you can go to iTunes and get the audiobook. Right. But Amazon has the Kindle version and the paperback version. I have the paperback version here. Mm-hmm. And this is the 90-day companion journal. Right. So the workbooks will be available in the next 2 weeks. I actually have an educator who's actually going through the workbooks. So, I'm an educator, but of a different stripe. And so I actually have an educator, or a curriculum development person, going through the books to make sure that they are in tune with the learning styles.
Right. That I talk about. Awesome. So make sure you can go to bit.ly/leadership dynamics. It's on the bottom of the screen. And we're also scrolling where you can go as far as Amazon and things of that nature, where you can go and grab that book. But look right here, you can go to leadership dynamics and grab that book. And so we're going to take a quick break with Books to Boom Your Business with the amazing Velton Showell. He is the leadershipologist. We're going to take a quick break and come right back and roll over into Books to Boom Your Business, The Lessons in Me, with the phenomenal Brenda Flores Robles. And so if you've got any questions, make sure you put it in the comment and we'll get those questions over to Velton. We want you to connect with him directly and in person. So we've got his information down there so you can connect with him. So with no further ado, we're going to come right back to you right after this short message. None other than Brenda Flores Robles, coming straight to you. There she is, guys. She's coming up next. So go ahead and chime in and give her some love. Here it goes. Let's get her up on this screen. All right, fantastic. So again, we want to thank Velton Showell. That was amazing. If you have not got his book, again, please go ahead and get the book. And look, he's got a gift for us, folks. Look at this. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. He said, here's a gift for everyone also. If you guys text the word leadershipology, see, it's right there in front of my face. And matter of fact, I'm going to move it over here off of my face. How about that? If you text the word leadershipology, and I'm going to put this on the other side of the broadcast so you can have it and grab that as well. If you text the word leadershipology, very simple, to 954-329-0281. Again, that's 954-321-0281. 0281. Type your first name, type your last name, put your email there, and he's gonna give you a free gift. Wow, you can't beat that. And look right down there, the information is there too. So make sure you connect with the amazing leadershipologist himself, Mr. Velton Showell. And thanks, Velton, for the free gift. We so appreciate it. So with no further ado, I'm going right to you. Let's go ahead and bring up Mrs. Brenda Flores Robles. Hello. How are you? Wow. Welcome. Always great to have you. We know that you are an amazing author. You're a show host, you're an entrepreneur, but you're also an artist. I've got some earrings that you designed for me, and they're beautiful. And you are the brainchild of the wonderful book called The Lessons in Me. And I'm so happy to have you here because I had the honor of doing the foreword on the book. And you've got multiple amazing authors from all around the world. So, Brenda, we welcome you here to Books to Boom Your Business. Please tell us more about yourself, and then I'm going to move on out the way so you can give us some tips from The Lessons in Me.
Well, hi, everybody from San Antonio, Texas. I'm enjoying my day. I have the privilege to be here in Books to Boom. Thank you, Lotus, and thank you, everyone else who's participating and attending this show. I am happy to be here. I'm so proud to be on your show, Lotus. You always bring the good, and I'm always learning from you and every single person that is a guest.
Yes.
Thank you, Velton, for teaching me today. You have blessed us with all your knowledge, a lot of knowledge today about hospitality, how to treat people, how to learn from one another. I loved it, honestly. But today I want to talk to you about the lesson in me. I am the writer and the creator of the lesson in me. Before I started the lesson in me, there was another project I was working on. It was called Stepping Into My Territories, right? And it was a collaboration of many women from all over the United States. And it was during the Black Lives Matter when I got it was during the Black Lives Matter, and it was an Instagram post. It was in my feed, and it said, "Please support Black businesses." Right. So when I saw that message, I went straight to Facebook. And when I went to Facebook, I said, "Okay, I'm going to support two women today." So one of them was Janelle Harris, which is the CEO of She Exists.
Yes.
She helps a lot of women in leadership to gain all the skills they need to move on with their life, to be better than who they are. And I messaged her and I said I wanted to support her. And I also messaged Tiffany, and she is a wonderful woman who helps a lot of businesses around the world. I messaged her and I supported her with buying her souvenir. She's always telling and sharing to be proud of yourself and to share your story. So what is your story, right? So these are two women that I supported, and it was a few days later where Janelle Harris presented me with an opportunity to be in her book collaboration. And at first I was hesitant to be in a book collaboration. Like,
yes,
I've never been in one. I was scared to be in one. I was like, do I have something to share? Is my knowledge and what I experienced important and valuable? So I told her, I'm not sure, right? After she messaged me, I said, I'm not sure. She goes, well, pray about it. And I was like,
yep.
Pray about it.
Yeah.
That was the first time somebody said, well, hey, pray about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to pray about it. Then a couple of days later went by, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do it, but I'm not even sure what do I write about. Right? So she introduced me. Once I said yes, she introduced me to the other women who were collaborating in the book. And I was like, wow, these ladies are amazing. They come from all different backgrounds, and they have something to share. They're in businesses, they're writers. And I was so impressed. And then they were gearing me up to take classes of financial literacy. And I'm like, I just stepped into this territory, and they're over here saying, okay, we'll take this class, financial literacy. They're offering these classes. And I'm like, wow, right? I'm like so impressed with Janelle and all the women she's introducing me. And she's teaching me that, hey, come on, come join us, come collaborate with us. It made me feel special. It made me feel like I belonged, and it made me feel like I'm not alone. And it made me feel like we're going to do this together. And we're going to be like, and my voice mattered, right? Because at first I didn't think my voice mattered, but when I stepped into this group, it just happened so fast, right? And then I met you, Lotus, and you're like, all right, I'm going to teach you StreamYard. And I'm like, StreamYard? can I possibly have my own show? Can I possibly?
Yep.
I'm like, no, I was scared. Part of me was scared, Lotus, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. I'm just gonna have to throw myself in. Right? There's no other way. Just throw myself in. And it's through that journey of stepping into the territory, stepping into new territory, and somebody taking my hand and saying, you know what, you can do this. Come over here. Come. To look at you and say, you know what, you can be more. You can do more. And that was something so touchable and heart, with so much love and heart that somebody cared about me to want to push me forward, want to push me to be better than where I'm at. So that's how the lesson in me was created. I said, you know what? So here I am. I'm writing my story for the stepping into my territory, and I said, you know what? I want to write my own, right? And I said, could I do it? So part of me was still hesitant a little bit. So because it's getting the women. At first, it was going to be a women empowerment book, right? There was going to be a women empowerment of many women sharing a tip of how you're going to empower us, right? So I started messaging these women, and they said yes, some said yes, some said no. And I was like, all right, don't get discouraged, because some people, they're all for it, and then there's some people, they're in a place in the time where they can't. And then there's some people who are like, I don't want to be out there. I honestly, like my private life, I don't want to share it, right? So then after writing my story halfway, I was like, you know what? We need men in this book. Men are so important. A lot of people leave them out. They always want to leave men out. Like men are nobody, but men are so important.
Yep.
Men help us so much. And I didn't want to leave them out because I know that men have voices and they're powerful. And I wanted men to share their story because I wanted these women and men to know that they have a story. They too feel. They too have feelings.
Yes. That's awesome. So
that's when I added men on here to the lesson in me. And lesson in me is we all share a lesson, an important lesson of our life. No matter if it's from the past, the present, or where we want to go. And I wrote mine on being a caregiver because I am a caregiver to my husband who has cancer, multiple myeloma, and on dialysis. Being a caregiver has changed my life completely because I went from being able to get up and go wherever we want to not being able to go wherever we want. We have to, it changes our lives, meaning how we do things, what we're allowed to do financially. It tears you apart. It's your one income to, two incomes to one. It just, from getting an eviction notice, and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How can I tell someone who has cancer that, hey, we cannot live here, right? So everything that has happened to me, I summed it up in the lesson in me in my story. And my 5 tips are that the first one is you have to reflect, right? Reflection is so important. Where you've been, what decisions have you made to get to where you are today? I think reflection is so important because it's making you write them down or talk about the choices that you made, and you're going to see. You're going to look at the lessons and the where you've been, and then say, you know what? Man, I did make that decision. I did make that choice to, and this is the effect of that choice. You know what I mean? It makes you take accountability for the life that you had. And then my other tip is to be proud of yourself. Like, no matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, even if you come from the poor, even if you didn't have no food, even if you know what, you were unkind in one of your few chapters, and then now you're not. You know, you can always learn to improve yourself and be proud of yourself. My third tip is be yourself. You must be yourself in everything you do. I don't want to be anybody else, and I'm sure people don't want to be me. You can only succeed if you be yourself. You're gonna go far. You're gonna stand out and be like, okay, this person is known for this. And the fourth one is tip is to learn from one another. You know, be collaborating in this book. I've learned so much from many people's story. There's so many beautiful stories I didn't know. You don't honestly know what people go through or been through.
Yep.
If they don't tell you.
Yep.
You don't know, and reading the stories made me cry. I'm like, oh, I can't believe her mother was that way. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Like, you come from like you think that someone shared the story about their mother not being supportive and what she would say. And I'm like, I can't believe her mother was like that. And you think that just because they're your mom, they're supposed to be your protectors, and that's not true. A lot of there's a lot of parents who are not good guardians. So that was heartbreaking for me, and how she moved forward and pushed herself forward beyond that. And it takes a lot of will, and it takes a lot of support from other family members or friends to survive that kind of lifestyle. And then my last one would be good to others. Because you know what? People are going to remember. People remember how you made them feel. People remember what you said. And I have another story in there where this writer, he was a child, and he was bullied, and he never forgot that how he, like, when he was bullied, he never forgot that story, and he wanted to share it and what he learned about it. Like, people will remember. People remember, and they will share it with others. So be good to people, because people pass it on and pass it on and pass it on. So now everybody knows you're being unkind and rude and this and that, but it could be years later and you're like, you're not like that anymore. But people are still sharing that story, and people are judging you based on what was said and how you acted at that time, even if it was from 20 years ago.
Yep, that's true.
So my book, you can find it at on Amazon.com. It's a Kindle version. I'm still working on the physical book. This is my first physical book, but I'm looking it over and seeing how it's laid out, and looking to see how I wanted to make it pop. And I am so grateful for you, Lotus. for helping me put this book together.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful for all the writers who have shared their story and who were strong enough to share their story. And because I know it's really hard to tell something personal, because a lot of people don't want to share the personal. You know, like social media, people just want to share the glamorous life. but it takes guts.
Yes.
You know, it takes guts to share something so private that you will be judged on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I'm thankful for all the writers, and I'm thankful for sharing their voice, which is so important. That will help someone learn a lesson in their journey.
Awesome. I just love what you shared. And let me get up here right next to you, and then we're gonna bring Mr. Velton up. And God, you guys are just so amazing. Just wow, you're just so amazing. So if you look right down here, everybody, I want to share with you. You know, not only is she's an author and a creator, she is the owner of Trinity and Tulip, which is a company that she started with her daughter. And even the earrings that she has on, she's probably made them, and all the art on her wall, she probably made that too. So she's an author. She's just an inspiration for the world, letting people know that no matter what you're going through, you don't have to look like the hell that you're going through. And you can inspire somebody while being a caregiver, because she's a caregiver to her husband. And many of us are caregivers, and Velton kind of talked about it earlier when we were by ourselves. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up this chat, because while you were talking, Velton said a couple of things, and I want to bring that up. And Sarah said, learning things from different people teaches us to be kind every day. And that's true. And Velton said, people may forget. Hold on, let me move this out of your face. Pardon me. People may forget what you say. They may forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou, she said that. And he said to you, Mr. Velton Shaw said, great stuff, Brenda. And so with that, also we put down here a little bit about who you are, but also how to get your book. So make sure you can go to Amazon and get that book. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to stop this share because I want to put this up here for a quick minute. I want to go and I want to share the screen that we have for Amazon. So you can go right there to Amazon, everybody. You see this right here to Amazon. It's the Lessons in Me. She's got the Kindle version on here. The Kindle's price only $9.99. What a amazing, great price to get this amazing book, where you will be able to leverage a myriad of authors. We've got some great authors: Sharon D. Chisholm, Dr. Lotus Richey, Brenda Flores, Robles, of course, Mike Robles, her husband, Minerva Salazar, Tina Gerwin, Renee Garcia, and I think we also have Janelle is in here. I think she's in here, and Sharon Lee Zappa, and just a host of amazing authors from all around giving you top knowledge. Even Jose Hernandez is in here. And so you ask some questions when we look at the book. What do you do with the lessons that life has taught you? Do you write them down? Do you analyze them? Do you share the lessons with your friends and family? And the answer is yes to all of them. And so with that being said, you can go right there, right on Amazon, and get this book today. You will be happy that you did. And so I'm going to go right back and share our Zoom back with you. Here we go. And wow, look, we're back in Zoom, okay? And so again, look right down here below and you can grab that book. And so what we're going to do now is go ahead and bring Mr. Velton up as we get ready to close out our segment. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Be sure to share this segment, share it with someone that you know, like, and trust, and also share it with your frenemies, because they need to know this information too about books to boom your business, because it's unequivocal. In business, you're going to have to do the things that the leadershipologist talked about. You got to put people first. You counsel in private. And most importantly, you've got to make sure that you're leading by example, because again, people might forget about what you did, but they will remember how you felt or how you made them feel. So again, wow, Velton, thanks for being here. Velton, now, books to boom your business. What did you learn from Brenda? And then Brenda, I want you to reiterate what you learned from Velton. And then we're going to have some final words of wisdom in our last couple of minutes. Velton, you're up. Your mic. Turn your mic up. We can't hear you. No. You may have it double muted.
How's that?
That's much better. Okay, there we go. Fantastic.
For some reason, the mic went out. I don't know what it is.
So okay, no problem.
It's interesting hearing Brenda talk in the early parts, and also hear her talk about her book and how she came to write it. What we have to remember is, and I'm glad she wrote the book, our trouble or our challenge is the key to someone else's breakthrough.
Yes.
And because she went through those difficult times and she was willing to share them, it's a healing factor to somebody else. And people are going to be healed by the words and the content of the book that she wrote. So I encourage people to get her book. And I encourage people to connect with her so that she can help guide them to their breakthrough.
Exactly. And I love how you put that, Velton, because we've talked about words that we use, and you share that our challenges are the keys to others' breakthroughs. We are the answer to the challenge. And that's what Books to Boom Your Business is really all about. What challenge are you facing? Well, you've got two dynamic authors right here that's giving you skills, techniques, strategies to help you get through the breakthrough and get to the breakthrough. Thank you, Velton. So, Brenda, what do you want to share with Mr. Velton? I say Mr. folks. Velton say don't say Mr., but y'all know I'm military, so I grew up, I always say Mr. or Miss. Yeah. So, Brenda, what you got?
Velton, I am so glad I'm on here with you today. You don't know how much you inspired me today. You don't know how much I'm going to be getting your books, listening to them, learning from you, because leadership is so important. Your leadership, everyone's a leader. If they have a home and they have children, you know what? You're a leader at home. And you got to learn how to teach them, and you got to learn how to guide them through life. You're a leader at work, because you have to represent yourself and the skills that they gave you to do the job. No matter what job you are in, if it's a waitress, you're in retail, if you're a student, you got to show up. No matter where you're at in life, you got to show up and represent, or else, you know what? You're going to stay the same.
Yep.
And what I also learned, Velton, is, you know what? You bring so much value to everybody. I'm pretty sure to everybody you meet. Because you know what? You got to learn how to be a leader. And you know what? You got to learn to speak and open your mouth.
Yep.
Because if you don't talk, guess what? You don't get paid. You don't get paid. You don't move on. You don't get promoted. There's a lot of things you have to learn to be a leader. And what I learned about you is that you are professional, and you have many skills in your field, and I love it. And I love that you found your love and passion, and you ran with it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I've been everywhere. You know, hospitality, teaching, and now what I love to do, and what I found that I love to do, is that create. You know, I love to create, and I want to use all the skills I have into creating books, doing the art, and teaching someone about life, my
Awesome.
real life experiences. So I'm so glad you're here, Milton. I'm so glad Lotus connected us together, because I will buy your books and I will share it with others, because you bring so much value that's going to help us become better.
Well, Brenda, I will say this, and I know I've already spoken, but you're an artist.
Yes.
And not just an author, but an artist. And there's a difference. Because an artist, it comes from within, not from here or here. So there's one thing I'll leave you with, and I tell everybody this: when your vocation intersects with your passion, you'll never work a day in your life.
Amen. Yes, I love that.
You have to feel it. You have to feel, and it's not going to be like, oh, I don't want to go to work. You know, when you found something you really love, I don't want to go to work. And you'd be like, hell yeah, I'm going to work, and I'm going to be better, and I'm going to make it better. You know what I mean? You're going to want to improve, and you're like, no, there's a better way. And I'm so glad I'm here on Books to Broom. It's a new year, and I want to be better.
And here's the thing. This is the first segment. This is segment 4 of Books to Boom Your Business. And I couldn't have asked for 2 greater people to open up the year for Books to Boom Your Business than Brenda Flores Robles and the leadershipologist himself, Velton Shaw, because everybody's trying to do something new in their life. But a lot of people are afraid because they learned lessons, but they're not implementing the lesson. But now the lessons in me can help you implement that lesson, and you can move forward. You don't have to keep living in the past. And then with your business, and even in your private life, there's a leadershipologist in all of us. And Velton has created the schematic for us to get there. So again, thank you both for being here. Thank you. I see people chiming in from everywhere. We will replay this. We will do a replay on this weekend and the first part of next week, because I know there are people from Africa and all over saying, hey, please, can you show this at 11 during the day? The answer is yes, I will show it again. And I encourage you to get the books to boom your business. So let me share with you who is going to come up next on the books to boom your business. Okay, I'll share that with you shortly. But before I share that, I want to say, go to YouTube, go to LinkedIn, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to Alignable. And once you get to those places, look for the 2 faces that's right here with me, and make sure you connect with them. You'll be happy that you did. And so many folks are chiming in. Miss Phyllis Weaver, I want to thank you for joining us. We have people all around the world that's joining us. I'm looking here at our other live broadcast that's happening simultaneously. Thank you to everyone. Angela Elting, as always, Mr. Unstoppable, thank you. And so many others around the world. I want to thank you. I want to thank all my staff, all my team, all my family. And of course, look right down below, folks. You have the Amazon grab Brenda's book. You also have in the ticker that's tickering right down there, you have Velton Shaw's book. Go ahead and grab that book. And we greatly appreciate you for coming. We greatly appreciate you for joining us today with Books to Boom Your Business. So with no further ado, again, we thank you, we bless you, and we just love having you here. And so let's see who we have next. Miss Sarah, who do we have next on Books to Boom Your Business? Because we want y'all to get their books too. February 25th. February 25th is the next Books to Boom Your Business with the remarkable poet herself, Dr. Yamaija Jubilee. She's coming and she's going to be super amazing. She's always doing great things. And Dr. Dylan Canterbury. Dylan Canterbury will be here, or Emma Bong Smart. Emma Bong Smart. She wrote a fabulous book called Stay. I read the book. It's amazing. If you're having any challenges in your life, if you're thinking that your life isn't important, if you're thinking that you don't matter, well, you need to come to the next Books to Boom Your Business, because you are important. And so with no further ado, I thank you. And again, be sure to connect with my guests, because when you connect with them, they'll connect with you and they'll help you not only to boom your personal life, but to boom your business. Thanks again from Books to Boom Your Business. And we'll see you on February 25th, right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and every other tube on the planet. Have a great day. And remember, Books to Boom Your Business. I'm Dr. Lotus Rashay. Take care.